The 90s country machine runs on timing, narrow windows, slot a song into the right week, the right format, the right 3 minutes of afternoon drive, or the door shuts. Nashville built that machine. The Billboard Hot Country Songs chart measured it. TNN and CMT broadcast the results. And these 10 songs all missed that window. Radio passed, labels flinched, program directors made the wrong call, and then went home. Garth Brooks, Reba McEntire, Alan Jackson, some of the biggest names in the format, had songs the machine refused to touch. And every single one of these songs proved, over time, that the gatekeepers were wrong. This is not a list of bad songs that got lucky. These are 10 songs that were too good, too honest, too specific, or too early for the machine to recognize. The machine moved on. The songs didn't. Here are the 10 90s country songs that flopped, then became smash hits anyway. Number 10. Passionate Kisses, Mary Chapin Carpenter, 1993. A woman named Lucinda Williams writes a song in the late 1980s that asks a simple question. Why shouldn't a woman expect what she deserves? A comfortable bed, a phone that rings, a man who makes her feel good. She records it for her 1988 album on Rough Trade Records, a small independent label that is essentially invisible to country radio. Publishers pitch it to Nashville. Nashville passes. The voice is too raw. The demand in the lyric is too direct. There is no apology built into the song, and that alone makes programmers uneasy. 5 years pass. In 1992, Mary Chapin Carpenter cuts the song for her album, Come On, Come On. It goes to country radio in 1993 and peaks inside the top 5 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. Then the 1994 Grammy Awards arrive, and the same song wins in 2 separate categories. Lucinda Williams, who wrote it, takes home Best Country Song. Mary Chapin Carpenter, who sang it, takes home Best Female Country Vocal Performance. 2 women win Grammys for a song country radio refused to touch when one of them first recorded it. The moment was always right. Country radio in 1988 just wasn't ready for it. What most people don't know, Williams' publisher pitched Passionate Kisses to the Nashville establishment for years without a single taker. Then a cover version walked through the door she couldn't open, and both women ended up holding awards for it at the same ceremony. Number 9. Something in Red, Lori Morgan, 1991. By 1991, Lori Morgan hits number 1 on the country chart with regularity. Radio knows exactly what she is for. The punch, the heartache, the big-voiced country statement. Then she releases Something in Red, a story song told in scenes across a woman's entire life. A red dress bought as a teenager, the same color chosen for a wedding, a widow's final choice. There are no big radio hooks, no building chorus designed for drive time, just a woman moving through her life in chapters. Radio does not know where to put it. Programmers who want the up-tempo Lori Morgan leave it alone. The song misses the commercial territory her other singles occupy. Then something slower happens. Something in Red starts showing up on best of lists. Artists cite it as a personal favorite. Audiences remember it with a precision they don't apply to most chart toppers of the era. It becomes the song people point to when they want to explain what country music can do when it trusts the story over the formula. The machine passed. The song stayed. What most people don't know, Something in Red was not the lead single from the album of the same name. Radio had already set its expectations for the record before this song arrived at anyone's desk, and the track that deserved the biggest push came last. Number 8. Midnight in Montgomery, Alan Jackson, 1992. Alan Jackson writes a song about driving through Montgomery, Alabama, and hitching a ride with a ghost. The ghost is Hank Williams. They talk. The ghost gets out. Jackson keeps driving. In 1992, that song goes to country radio, and a section of programmers don't know what to do with it. A ghost. A direct conversation with a man dead for 40 years. A supernatural encounter told in first person as a straight country ballad. Some stations find it unconventional. The song peaks at number 3 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart, which is below the number 1 standard Jackson holds consistently across this era. What happens next is quieter and takes longer. Midnight in Montgomery becomes the song country fans bring up when they want to explain what the genre can do that other genres can't. It earns its place not through a second chart run, but through sheer staying power. A song about where country music comes from and what it costs to come from there. In that sense, it sits squarely in the new traditionalist lineage that push against the polished Nashville sound in favor of something rawer and more honest, and it may be the purest expression of that movement Jackson ever put on tape. What most people don't know, Jackson wrote the song after visiting Hank Williams's actual grave in Montgomery. The encounter with the hitchhiking ghost was not pure imagination. He has said that standing at that grave made the song feel less like writing and more like reporting. Number 7. Boot Scootin' Boogie, Brooks and Dunn, 1992. In 1991, Brooks and Dunn record their debut album, Brand New Man. On track 8 sits a song about a honky-tonk where cowboys go to line dance on weeknights. Their label listens. Both men listen. Everyone agrees. This song is too risky to release as a single. Ronnie Dunn admits it without hesitation years later. They were afraid of it. The label was afraid of it. It goes on the album and serves as the B-side to their second single, where nobody formally plays it. Then something unexpected happens in American bars. Line dancing is coming back. It had its first mainstream moment with Urban Cowboy back in 1980, but this is a different wave, broader and more sustained. Honky-tonks across the country are building their nights around a specific few songs, and one of them is a track from this debut album that no radio programmer has ever added to a playlist. The fans know before the label does. Brooks and Dunn keep hearing about it on tour. The label releases Boot Scootin' Boogie as a proper single in May 1992, and it hits number 1 for 4 consecutive weeks on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. The song is later credited with sparking the line dancing explosion that defines the sound of country bars for the next 3 years. All of that, and the label almost left it on the B-side. What most people don't know, Boot Scootin' Boogie was originally written and recorded by Asleep at the Wheel a full year before Brooks and Dunn's version. The Wheel's recording got no commercial traction. Ronnie Dunn saw something in the song that radio wouldn't touch, and then almost talked himself out of releasing his own version of it. Number 6. She Thinks His Name Was John, Reba McEntire, 1994. In 1994, MCA Records decides not to release this song as a single. That is the first thing to understand. The decision is made before anyone has to weigh the audience reaction. It is simply not going to be a single. It is an album track on Reba's Read My Mind. The song is about a woman dying of AIDS after a one-night encounter with a man whose name she barely remembers. It is the first major country song to directly address the epidemic, while Kathy Mattea had raised awareness around the crisis earlier, but nothing in mainstream country had gone this direct. Producer Tony Brown, one of the most powerful figures at MCA Nashville, was navigating a label and a format that had no established path for this subject. MCA judges that country radio simply isn't ready. Then radio stations begin playing the album cut without being asked. Calls come in. Listener requests accumulate. MCA reverses and formally releases the song as the album's second single in July 1994. It peaks at number 15 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. That is only the 4th time since 1982 that a Reba McEntire single misses the country top 10. What the chart position does not measure is what the song becomes, a landmark in the genre's history. The first moment mainstream country looked directly at the AIDS crisis and refused to look away. The audience found it before the label did. What most people don't know, co-writer Sandy Knox wrote the song after losing her own brother to AIDS following a contaminated blood transfusion in 1984. That personal origin was part of what the label was reluctant to publicize, given how resistant country radio was to the subject at the time. Number 5. We Shall Be Free, Garth Brooks, 1992. Garth Brooks is in Los Angeles in April 1992 for the ACM Awards. He watches the city burn on television. He watches footage of the Rodney King beating. He co-writes a song with Stephanie Davis that covers hunger, homelessness, racial tolerance, and includes one line that country radio is not ready for: "When we're free to love anyone we choose." The response from programmers is immediate. Wade Jessen, then a music program director at WSM Nashville, tells the Los Angeles Times directly, "Part of the country audience is not an audience that agrees with that kind of message." We Shall Be Free peaks at number 12 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. That is Garth's first single to miss the top 10 in 3 years. The NFL agrees to debut the music video before the 1993 Super Bowl, then quietly backs out of that commitment for the same reasons radio cited. Garth calls it, in his own liner notes, definitively and easily the most controversial song he has ever recorded. In 2023, 30 years later, he stands at Vanderbilt University and says he believes in those lyrics more now than he did when he wrote them. The song won the 1993 Gilead Media Award. Country radio was not ready for it. It did not matter. What most people don't know, Garth's sister Betsy Smittle, who played bass guitar in his live band at the peak of his commercial career, was gay. The line about loving anyone you choose was not a political abstraction, it was personal. Number 4. Heads Carolina, Tails California, Joe D. Messina, 1996. Joe D. Messina arrives in 1996 with a debut single about a couple who decides their circumstances call for exactly one solution. Flip a coin and drive until the town they grew up in is far behind them. The song is pure forward momentum. No second guessing, no sad verse built in to balance the chorus. Mercury releases it, and it peaks at number 2 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. For a debut single, number 2 is a strong result. In 1996, it is not quite the cultural breakthrough the song deserved. The problem is not the song. The problem is the timing. The confident, independent woman anthem has not fully arrived in country music yet. Shania Twain's The Woman in Me is reshaping what's possible, but the format has not blown fully open. Faith Hill's This Kiss is 2 years away. The cultural moment that would have turned this song into an immediate defining statement has not fully materialized yet. The song gets filed away as a strong debut that didn't quite ignite. Then the format catches up. Bye Bye goes to number 1 in 1998. Audiences go back to Heads Carolina and hear it differently. They hear it as the song that said what country radio was not quite ready to say. It is now cited consistently as one of the defining female country anthems of the decade. Number 2 was not what the song deserved in terms of legacy. It was just what 1996 could offer. What most people don't know, Heads Carolina was co-written by Mark D. Sanders, the same songwriter who later co-wrote I Hope You Dance in 2000. Sanders understood what the format was building toward. He wrote this song before the format knew it was building toward anything.